Hello, and welcome to a very impromptu change to the format. Unfortunately, due to technical difficulties at the last moment, we will not be interviewing the King and Queen of Avankal until a later date. So myself and me have decided to answer some of the questions ourselves. But first of all, Bea, if you wouldn't mind.
Firstly, I would like to acknowledge the lands of the kingdoms on which we reach out to today. We come here together in the spirit of fellowship, deepening of skills, and sharing of knowledge. It is in this context that I, Countess Beatrice Maria Malatesta, on behalf of my kingdom, acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we gather. We recognise their continuing connection to land, and we pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging, and elders from other communities who may be here today. And thank you, Lil, for joining us.
So we've been debating who would interview who. So we've decided to do paper, scissors, and let that decide. So are you ready?
To see who goes first.
Yeah, who gets to be interviewed.
Yeah. Ready?
1, 2, 3. Oh, it's a delay, but you had paper, so I get to interview you.
Sure. Okay, I'll be interviewed. Then it's your turn.
Okay. So we all know about our kingdom because we've spoken about it several times in the last couple of weeks about the device and what you feel that we're known for. What does the kingdom's tradition bring you joy? What kingdom tradition brings you joy?
I have to say, one of my favorite things is our crown tournament, where all of the roses and the coronaria gather together and oversee the final with the consorts, especially if you've made friends with those consorts. And we all make friends and bond together as roses and coronaria. So it's really nice to be there and show that support and show not only the consorts but the kingdom that we as roses and coronaria are there for the kingdom. Yeah, so, it's definitely one of my highlights.
That and the roses tea, obviously.
Well, yeah, the roses tourney and the roses tea that we host at Roni Festival over the last few years, I have taken lead in putting that together. And the roses tourney is so much fun, watching fighters come together and just demonstrate their prowess and their chivalry and courtesy to the roses, the coronaria, and the general populace, having different formats as well, which just changes it up and makes it exciting for the fighters as well as those watching. And for the roses tourney, the winner is chosen by the ladies of the rose and the ladies of the coronaria. And we have been we've been given a very, very lovely rose that is produced by Fagin of Inelgard, and he does an iron rose. He makes an iron rose for the ladies to hand out as largesse. And then we go to the roses tea.
Yeah. So when Henri, now Sir Countmaster, sorry, use all the titles, won for you, what was your initial reaction to hearing that you are going to be the next princess of Lockhart?
I was in shock. In Lockhart, the consorts don't have to attend the crown tourneys, so I wasn't there. And I was getting text messages and phone calls through the day. And then I received the phone call to say that he had won and he had been crowned crown prince. sometimes you just get that feeling on a day that you know something is big is going to happen, and that was that day. So yeah, shock, amazement, and oh my gosh, what the hell are we doing?
So he was crowned prince on the day. When did he crown you princess?
He at the next event that the next event we attended as crown prince and princess, but it was formally done by King Sheridan and Queen Margie at Great Northern War.
Mm-hmm. Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
So you were saying that you didn't specifically choose a theme for your reign. Is there a particular reason why you didn't do that?
We had followed Sheridan and Margie, who had done quite a lot of theatre, and it was amazing. And they were the houses of McLaughlin and Glenmore. That was the merging of their two houses and the partnership. And Henri and I wanted to just make it a comfortable, fun time, fun reign, make the most of what we were doing. We were the 21st crown. That was we saw it as the party reign to a degree, and that's what we did. We enjoyed our time on the throne, and we made the most of it.
Margie was your peer, wasn't she? One of
she
your
was.
peers. Did she shake her head in disbelief at the timing?
No, she was amazing, and it was absolutely one of my highlights of the reign was to give my peer her county.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, it was just unreal. It's something that very rarely happens here. Yep. So just to be able to do that and recognize her in that with that peerage was awesome.
So although being crown is basically a 6 to 9 month period of your history in the SCA and obviously a highlight, what did you miss about just being Bee and not Queen Bee, which is the unofficial title that we gave you during your reign? Like, what was the major difference that you found between just being Beatrice and being Queen Beatrice?
I couldn't do the things that I love to do, which is helping. I was very naughty, and I would run away from my guard, and I got in trouble for moving a throne. And there's a tradition at an event called Spring War here, where it's only the pointy hats that are allowed to cook on the barbecue. So it's the breakfast cooking shift. And I had done that for so many years beforehand, and I was really, really lucky to be able to do it before I got my court barony. I think I was one of the very rare exceptions to be able to do that. And so when I stepped up as crown and went to Spring War, I was very determined, and I did go and cook on the barbecue, because it is one of the fun times that I have. It's one of my most joyful memories of going to that event and doing that work. So that's really the big things that I miss, being able to go in the kitchen and go into cooking or cleaning up or just setting up stuff for court, little bits and pieces like that. I think I also I really missed, I loved being crowned. There's a lot of preparation, especially for court, and I made the most of the downtime that I had with my household and my friends.
So what would one of your highlights be? Because there's many highlights, but what would be, okay, I'll let you have three main highlights.
Three. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's really difficult. Crowning like giving Margie her county, most definitely that one. Being able, so we did a lot of travel and got to meet quite a lot of people. And my first event that I went to after coronation was to Anyala with yourself and Bran. And the trip had been planned well before we won crown, and we're going over for for Bran to take a student, but also for the renewal of vows for Killich and Bramwin, who were Baron and Baroness of Anyala. So being able to see all of that was just a highlight and a joy, an absolute joy to be able to oversee that. And the Crown Tourney, watching the Crown Tourney and watching the fighters in there, watching Henri marshal that tourney and oversee it as he did, it was amazing. And we had a lot of fun, and our heirs were awesome. Getting to know them very well. Yeah.
So what was the hardest thing that you had to do as Crown of Lockhart?
There was a lot of background administration. I think one of the most difficult things, Henri and I were friends, and we lived 2 hours apart. So we were, and he had a very lovely wife who graciously allowed me to reign with him. And we were on the phone every day to discuss matters, and I was very mindful of his time at home, his private time, and he was the same. So it was, the distance made it a little bit difficult, but we got to know each other and how to work with each other, and just, yeah, it was some of the decisions that we made. But we also made a pact at the beginning of the reign, which was, if we don't both agree, then it won't happen, regardless if it's a positive or a negative.
So can you tell the populace a bit more about Beatrice Maria Malasara and when you started in the origin story? Your turn.
Origin story. So I started on the 1st of May, 1993.
That's very specific.
I know, and I remember it clearly because it is the SCA birthday. So I went to an SCA birthday, and it was a council meeting, and they were celebrating the SCA birthday on that day. So that's why I have that memory so strong. And I was actually brought in by an ex-boyfriend who knew some people who did some funky stuff. And I have always had a love of history. I'm enthusiastic about Victorian history and Egyptian history. And yeah, just it was something that I looked at and went, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Medieval stuff, not the King Arthur stuff, like the real meaty stuff that I can get into. And so my journey started from there, and I started in a small group called Castellum-Montanum, which is a canton that was in Toowoomba in Queensland, about 2 hours west. And I made some really good friends, and I still have lifelong friends there. Unfortunately, I had to close my group as seneschal when I was canton seneschal in 2009. But I know that that still holds dear to me. My home group is Castellum-Montanum. My home barony is Riverhaven, and I did a lot of playing in there. Yeah, I started as a wench And I loved kitchen work. I loved helping. I liked cooking, and going and just helping out at events. And then I also like to have a few drinks and socialize. And then got into fighting and got out of fighting. And just the more that I played, the more that my friendship group exploded, really. And yeah, I love it.
So how many personas have you had?
So I started as a 16th century noblewoman who traveled the continent on her parents' money.
Well done.
Doing what she wanted. And then I found the Viking age, and I loved I love the clothing, and the ideals behind the lifestyle of the Viking age. But I also really enjoy where I'm enjoying the 14th century stuff at the moment, but I'm actually quite passionate about, this is very specific, 1530s Lower Saxony and Lower Germany and Saxony, and looking into the lifestyles of the peoples there, and the costuming, and it's a lot of it's starting with the Landsknechts and Trussfraus, and yeah, so looking at the social integration in that space.
Excellent. So what award did you like giving out as Queen?
Oh, my favorite award. It's going to be really weird. I love giving out court baronies.
Do you find the terminology landed white trash offensive like I do?
Landless white trash, yeah. I didn't, I have to admit. I used to use it. I would use it all the time. And then I reigned, and I saw the impact that a court barony has on that person. And I remember I bawled my eyes out when I was given my court barony. I don't think I've ever cried so much in court, because it was such a surprise and such a shock. Yeah, it's not a nice term. No. Because you are being recognised by the Crown as a member of their court, and holding yourself to that privilege is quite high. And our court baronies are very different across different kingdoms, and a court barony is not a society-wide. It is a society-wide award, but you are given a barony of the court of that kingdom. So there are many different baronies, court baronies that you can get. But yeah, giving that award out was awesome. And Henri and I used to fight over who gave out what awards.
What is your biggest regret of not doing when you're crowned?
I made a deal with myself, and that was to reign with no regrets.
Well done. Well done.
We, like I said, if we didn't agree, we wouldn't do it, and we would discuss all of that. But I very much went in as though this is definitely not something that I ever anticipated happening. I am honoured and privileged to have been asked by Henri, and for him to win for me, and to be that inspiration for him in that crown tourney. That was just amazing, and definitely a highlight of my FCA career. But when I walked in, I definitely went, this is the only time I'll ever be able to do this. It's the only chance I will ever have. So I'm going to make the most of what I want to do, and what we can do together as Crown, and have no regrets around the decisions that we do make.
So you are our kingdom seneschal at the moment, which means that there is a lot of work going on behind the scenes and a lot of people doing their best online to keep our communities together and to keep inspiring and to keep it new and fresh. Who have you got a list of people or a couple of people who you are finding inspirational in their support of the kingdom through this online like period? Or is there like a moment where you just want to say, this person I ring every day to ensure that, I'm in touch, kind of thing? Because it can get overwhelming with all the paperwork.
I am in awe. I am in absolute awe of the kingdom as a whole, of the populace. And it's really hard to put this into words on paper, but the way that the kingdom has bonded together, the resilience that the kingdom has had during these times, just to keep going, to keep the creativity, to keep the passion for the STA going, because it's so easy to let it go and go and do other things. In terms of people that I talk to all the time, I have been so lucky, and I really have had a lot of people reach out to me and just check in with how I'm going. Mundanely, my work has exploded is the only way to describe it. I work on average 50 to 60 hours a week, mundanely, as well as do Kingdom Seneschal. And I do have that strong support behind me. I now have a deputy seneschal. I have a team of deputies that are amazing and that just let me get on and do my work. The Crown, I speak to quite a lot, and thank you, Theodoric and Eglin, and they're putting the trust in myself and just the way that working with the kingdom, and the officers, all of our officers who are really, they go above and beyond at the best of times, but to be able to keep this going as well is just unreal. It really is. And doing it without burning out is really hard.
So we've asked the crowns of other kingdoms what they've been doing to keep themselves sane. I'd like to know what you're doing to keep yourself sane.
Watch a lot of Netflix. I talk to a lot of people. I socialize a lot online, and I chat, and so going to work, because work is so intense, we go a little bit stupid, and fun and laughter are a big part of the team that I work in. And so we get probably around 3 o'clock in the afternoon is the afternoon stupidity time, and it just goes a little bit crazy in the office. Even when we're working from home, we ring each other and just give each other crap all the time. But otherwise, the maintaining contact, keeping in touch with people, talking about stuff that isn't work or isn't admin is my space, my safe space and my brain space away from things. And I realized I really don't do much creative stuff at the moment, and I need to make more garb because I don't have enough. I left a whole heap of garb over at Penzic, thinking I was going back this year, but that didn't happen.
So I'm going to ask you about your device, your personal device. Can you give me an explanation as to why you chose and designed it that way?
No.
The meaning behind it?
It looked pretty and I liked the colors. So my device was registered in 1995.
Well done.
Yeah, so it's I love the moon, and of course these are mascules, so they're diamonds, and who doesn't love diamonds? And purple is one of my favorite colors. Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you a question that no other interviewer has been asked. Can you tell me 3 pieces of regalia or pieces of garb that bring you joy and happiness and the reason behind it?
Oh, yes. So this has been on a very long-term loan, and it actually belongs to Duchess Asa, which I will get back to you one day, I promise. It was her county, and I was actually given my court barony in this coronet. So when I was given my county, Asa read for me and offered for this coronet to be put on my head, and I love it. I absolutely love it so much, and do feel honored to wear that. I have this one. So this one is my peerage chain. So there are lots of links on it. So there's a chain, that's my chain. And then there are different links from people that I asked for, who have inspired me across my SCA journey and my journey to my peerage. And the medallion was attached to it, was actually bone carved by Sir Wolfram Flamenhertz, as he couldn't take a link off his chain. So he carved me a pelican medallion. The other one is this medallion. So it's a pelican medallion. It has quite a strong lineage and has gone through a lot of people. It was gifted to me. I wasn't elevated in this one, but it was gifted to me by my knight Lorcan, Sir Lorcan, and he was elevated in this, and I have a very strong emotional attachment to this medallion still, because it was gifted, because of the history of it, and I love it. I love it quite a bit, and it sits on my pride chain. Yeah,
That's lovely. So I'm starting to go, I know a lot about you because we've been friends for many, many.
oh no. Just remember, I have stories too.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you what your favorite story in the SCA is to tell.
Ooh. A lot of my stories actually start with this one time I was drinking. And they really do, but there's a tradition in Lokac of the tassel of the crown tourney. So in the first crown tourney, when we were created as a kingdom, it was identified that there wasn't a tassel. So Portia was Queen of the West, and no, it wasn't Portia. It was Elspeth.
First Queen of Lokac.
First Queen of Lokac. Didn't have a tassel, and took a tassel from her garb. And so that has actually become a tradition. And please correct me if I'm wrong. I may have people all mixed up in this. But that has become a tradition of when the queens or the consorts step up at their coronation, there is a tassel that is sewn onto their garb, and that tassel is given to the winner of the crown tourney, the gold tassel. And when when Henri won Crown Tourney, he didn't get the tassel. When I was crown princess at Northern Wall by Margie and Sheridan, Margie actually passed the tassel to me as the inspiration to the winner of the Crown Tourney. And poor Henri had won three tourneys and not received a tassel for any of them. So to win a Crown Tourney is a big thing. So yeah, that's definitely one of the stories I like to tell.
So is that why for a long period of time people kept gifting Henri tassels?
Yes, yes, it is. Yes. So he did receive many, many tassels across our reign.
So what's your favorite Pennsic memory, since you've been a couple of times, haven't you now?
Oh my gosh. The first time I went to Pennsic, I was the only Lockhart rose in our campsite, and it was when Neil and Leodin ranged the first time. And I was lucky enough to escort Leodin to the Roses and the Queen's events. And the Rose Tourney at Pennsic was one of the first times that I actually got to meet other crowns, and I got to sit with the queens and hang out, and I've made really good friends with a couple of them. One of them we're interviewing in a couple of weeks, Queen Leodin from Athelmark. But just being able to have that camaraderie and going to the Roses tea, it's a thing. Regardless of the kingdom that you're a part of, the Roses are all bonded together. They really are.
I joked that there should be an award for the crown that were male, and being who I am, I've joked that if we're roses, then we have to go with the lovely 80s song, "Every Rose Has Its Thorn." It should be the Order of the Thorn.
Yeah.
Right? Is there any possibility, you being seneschal, that we could actually push that through during the pandemic times as a oops?
No comment.
So I thought I chanced my arm. So what keeps you playing, Beatrice? Like you said you started way back in the mid-90s. What keeps you playing?
People.
The people?
Absolutely. We were talking about family with the crowns last weekend, and it truly is my family. These are my chosen family, the SCA. I have my blood family, but yeah, this is definitely my chosen family. Some of the most generous, gracious, hospitable people that have come from all walks of life, that have no judgment of others. And we really do share that one passion. Regardless of what you enjoy in the society, it is the society itself that is the passion that I think we all have for it, and why I do it. It's given me the opportunity to meet people from all across the world, especially being able to travel to Pennsic. And I know that I can go to many places across the US. I can go to places in Europe and be welcomed by others. Just go, hi, I'm visiting. This is what I'm doing. Are there any ideas of what I should do? I need some accommodation. I've been stranded somewhere. Yeah, it's just amazing. And yeah, that's what I love. That's what I absolutely love.
So when you look down at your list of achievements and accomplishments in the SCA, is there something that you still want to do with your time in the SCA? Is there something you've not achieved and yet you, when you step down as Kingdom Seneschal, because nobody wants you to do it now, right, that you still would like to be able to say, I tried that?
Oh, there's lots of things, especially lots of creative things. I want to make more stuff, and I love embroidery. I like, one of the biggest things is I love making things for other people, and I like seeing the joy on the faces of those people that I gift things to. It's part of the reason why I enjoy running events, because this isn't about me. I'm not fussed about it. It's making the SCA a place where people can come and have a fantastic experience and escape their mundane life and absorb themselves into what we can offer, whether it's just a 20 in the park, an A&S day, or a full running Romany festival. Yeah.
Because you've done that a couple of times, haven't you now? Volunteered to help with Rona Festival or run it?
I've run it once. King Yadai and I were supposed to run it this year. That kind of didn't happen. But I've been involved in Romany Festival for around 6 or 7 years. Absolutely. And it's one of my favorite events. I don't interact much with the activities there, but I interact with the people and doing the setup and looking after the crown, making sure people are doing their thing and enjoying their stuff. And if there's an issue, then I'm more than happy to try and troubleshoot that. Yeah.
Excellent. So this was a very impromptu interview due to technical difficulties that we were going to have, that we had with the actual allocated king and queen of Avankal. I would like to thank you for losing in the rock, paper, scissors.
Oh yeah. Thank you so much. Don't worry, payback will happen. I want to tell one story about Lil.
Please.
Lil may not like this story. So when Lil was crowned, I was her head attendant and looked after all of the attendants. And she went to a Mordenvale dinner one night at Romany Festival, and I was doing all of their scheduling and their Chamberlain for Festival. And Brian and I had rocked up there, and she was being well looked after by her guard. And we bought some candied almonds with us. So Brian said to Lil, I'm taking B and we're going adventuring. And Lil was not very happy about this because I belong to her, not him. But I don't know how it came about, but I think there was a bit of a challenge of how many candied almonds you can fit in your mouth. And it was determined that 4 candied almonds in your mouth, you can't actually speak without dribbling. And that's definitely one of my best memories of you guys being crowned.
Me with, because the cakes, the tarts that you brought were those caramel tarts that he used to make every festival, and they decorated the top of it with these sugared almonds. So not only had I a mouthful of sugared almonds, but I had caramel dripping down the front of my face. And I had been good enough to take the crown off before I attempted to stuff my face with sugared almonds. But I remember thinking, please God, don't drip on my garb. That's just what I need to walk home and be like accosted with like brown stains right on my garb. Yes, all the little things that happen behind the scenes when you're not supposed to be doing that.
The fun things that happen.
Thank you for bringing up that memory, Your Excellency. And
no, anytime. More
And
than happy
we
to do
appreciate
that.
everybody watching this video, even though they were expecting way more regal people than us. And next time will be my turn, and eventually we will interview Magnus, who is the behind the scenes guy. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for putting up with our impromptu getting to know us bit. And we will see you very soon. Tonight at 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Time, we are interviewing the Crown of Drakenwald. So Erica and Jacqueline. So please come and join us then. I think the language barrier may be interesting because they are Swedish. But I know that the Swedish people do have quite a good understanding of English. We just don't know Swedish at all. So that's at 6 p.m. tonight on A Crown Between Two Roses. All right, we'll see you then, guys. Bye.
Bye.